I want you all to welcome Ellicia Romo to the Networking School podcast. I'm so excited for you to be here because out of all the people I meet, people consider me a networking expert. When I met you, I was like, oh, she's a networking guru. She does this thing like for real. So Ellicia, tell us about yourself and make sure you tell us one thing that's not in your bio.
Okay, so about me. Well, I mean, it's kind of funny that you said when you met me, you were like, oh, the networking guru, whatever. Because when we were at the first event, when I met you, when you talked, it was like every sentence you were telling the audience, I was like, yes, yes, yes. I'm getting so excited, right? But I started my adult life, my college career as a teacher, educator, and realized I did not want to do that the rest of my entire life. Got into the business world. And when I started going to events and networking with people, I right away saw the value. I loved it. I am an outgoing person. So meeting people and growing business and doing it hand in hand is so much fun for me. So currently now I'm in the mortgage lending industry and I'm a mortgage loan officer and I'm building a team of loan originators working with me. And I get to partner with realtors and other people in the real estate industry, which makes it just so much fun. I love it. And something not in my bio, I have a son who is about to turn 21, which blows me away. He'll be 21 in a month. I can't believe it. And I am so proud of him. And I love just working with people, helping people grow. And I love seeing my son in college being successful and growing. And he's working on networking now through social media and Twitch app, which is so much fun. And he's learning marketing to market himself. So yeah, I love my relationship with my son, and I love when I get to spend time with him, and I love to support him in his growth, just like I just love supporting other people in my life and their growth.
Very cool. First of all, I'm blown away because when we first met, speaking at that engagement together, you were emceeing, I was one of the speakers, and we got a chance to go to dinner and we went shopping and all of this stuff. He was like in junior high. He was young. That was a long time ago. I'm like, what? He's 21? That's crazy. That's
pretty awesome. Crazy. Yeah. Time just goes so fast, right? It is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about your story. I want to hear about your story. So a lot of people believe that like networking and sales and business at large is mostly about experience and skill and competence. I believe that a large part of our success comes from confidence. So my question to you is, have you always been really confident? And if not, what has been your confidence story? What's been your journey?
Okay, that's so I definitely have not always been really confident. Okay. And there are still moments when I'm not. It depends on what I'm doing, where I'm going. However, I have learned really well to get over myself, get over my own insecurities, and push myself to just put myself out there. Right. So I can go to an event and knowing I'm not going to know anybody, be just as nervous as the next person. Yeah. However, I will challenge myself going in that I am going to leave knowing at least 5 new people that I didn't already know. And I force myself to go up to people and introduce myself. And at first, the first one, it's always my heart's fluttering just like anybody else. Yes. However, when I talk to that first person, it makes it easier to talk to the second person. Right. God. And yeah, and so by just going up to people and saying like, hi, my name's Ellicia, I haven't met you yet, what's your name? it's and so some people think that I'm confident in meeting new people, and it's just that I force myself to push through the nerves,
I love
and the more I do it, the easier it gets. And in the beginning, honestly, I think when I first got in the real estate industry, I was going through a divorce.
it. Mhm.
And I not only needed business to get on my own 2 feet financially, however, honestly, at the time, I needed new friends too. And
Yeah.
so to me, it was like, oh, I just want to meet people because I need new friends.
Oh my God. So, Ellicia, I want to back up because you have said so many powerful things in that short period of time. And I want to make sure people catch it. First of all, you said you have to get over yourself. Because the thing I think most people do is they stop themselves because they start get in their head and it's like, but what if they don't like me? What if they say this? What if I say the wrong thing? And then we just don't say a word, right? Or we stay in the car. We never even get
Yeah.
out of the car. We never even hit join Zoom meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. Get over yourself, get past all of those feelings of the what ifs and just do it. The next
Uh-huh.
thing that I think you said that was really powerful, I just did a video about this very thing, like not even an hour ago, by the way, is that I literally just said confidence is in the doing. It's like you do it once, it's a little tough. You do it again, it gets a little easier. And before you know
Yes.
it, you're just doing it. And then the other thing that's really powerful is that you said you make yourself, introduce yourself to at least 5 people. Because if I left it to myself, people think I'm like outgoing and extroverted. Alicia's outgoing and extroverted. I'm not. And I have had to train myself to be what I need to be to grow my business, to make new connections, to help more people. But
Yeah.
I have to make myself do it just like you do. And I think that if people think, oh, it just comes naturally, you guys are outgoing and extroverts, and it's like no big deal. It's a big deal, right?
Yes,
It's a big
it is. It is still a big deal. And although I'm outgoing when I'm in a crowd, yes, again, like I have to force myself to do it. And sometimes I almost like equate it sometimes like going to the gym to working out. I usually don't want to do it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And once I get there and I'm halfway through, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I did this,
Yes,
and then I can walk out feeling good about myself.
yes.
However, I also, I sometimes equate myself to like an extroverted introvert because
Mm,
I love my people time and I love being around the crowds when I'm there.
right.
And when I'm alone, I also need that alone time. And I need to just like stop and recharge and, like come down from the high energy all the time that, being at an event can create.
I believe that.
So
Yeah.
there's both.
Yeah. And so there's a term that I've had to find because that's me too. It's called an ambivert. Ambivert. That's how you
Ah,
pronounce it. So for those of you who are listening, go Google it because it is a real thing. Because I was like, I'm extroverted sometimes, but I'm not always. And I need my downtime. I need to replenish my energy. So that's
mhm.
exactly it. It's like you kind of float between both of those places based on
Yes.
what you need. And I think it's based on what the people around you sometimes need.
Hmm.
Because I have to, there's times, especially on an airplane, I'm like, I just want to be still and be quiet until someone's like, ask me this question. I'm like, oh, I can't leave them like this. I gotta answer this question. They're desperate for conversation. I need to talk to them. And I pull myself out of that space for the people around me occasionally, but I need my downtime too. So my next question for you is this: who have you had to become in order to enjoy the level of success that you currently do? Because I know you're not even the person I met, God, what, 6, 7 years ago. Who have you had to become in order to be where you are right now, Alicia?
You know, uh, okay, so this is almost hard to talk about in a sense
Yeah.
because I had to realize that I was making life 10 times harder, maybe sometimes 50 or 100 times harder than it had to be.
Right.
I was making networking harder than it had to be. I was making business that harder than it had to be. I was going into situations not realizing it unconsciously, believing that I had to be like up for the fight and prove myself.
Yeah.
And I had some experiences where I realized that I'm actually surrounded by people, some who already knew me, some who I haven't met yet, who, when they meet me, they want to see me succeed. They want to support me. They want to help me. And I don't have to always see myself as the underdog, proving myself, fighting my way to the top. I can get to the top easier when I allow those people who want to support me to do so. And
Girl,
when I receive that support.
that's an orange applause moment. Not everybody gets an orange applause. I love everybody, but every now and then we just have to take a moment because that is so powerful. What you just said is so powerful because most people feel like they have to always perform for likes, right? Perform for acceptance. And oh my God, keep on. I just needed to acknowledge what you just said because so many people will be set free by what you're saying right now. Go ahead and continue.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Because, it's not always easy also to talk about that piece of my life that people maybe don't see, right? And again, when you talk about the confidence, like when I am fighting, feeling like I'm that underdog to fight, it's truly what that is that lack of confidence. And the fight that I'm doing is try to even prove to myself that I can have that confidence.
Oh, girl. It's so good. And I can relate so much. Ellicia, I know what it feels like to walk into a room and everyone else sees you as equal, or even sometimes they look up to you. But I always saw myself as the underdog. I always saw myself as the least in the room, if you will. And it took me a long time to get past that. And nobody's talking about this, by the way. So I'm so glad that you're saying it. I love a candid conversation because many times we don't acknowledge it. We don't even acknowledge it to ourselves, but we're doing ourselves and the people around us a disservice when we see ourselves as less than and we feel like we have to fight for it. And it's like, you're right. It makes life hard. Fighting is hard, right? It's hard.
It does. Yeah. And learning to receive that support that people want to give.
Oh my God, yes.
It does. It makes life easier. It makes it more fun. It makes success happen so much faster. Yeah.
Oh
huge. Huge.
I knew this was going to be a good conversation, but you're still surprising me. You're still surprising me. Oh my God. Tell me who has played, what connections, because we talk about connection a lot in networking school. What connections have played the biggest role in your life? Any connections, family, business, or otherwise? Who would you say has made that important connection for you?
So I would say the connections that I have made going through the training that PSI Seminars has to offer.
It's been
yeah, and honestly, you and I would never have met if I didn't do that, because I met Nicole through that, and Nicole connected us. And so the people that I met in doing my own personal growth, me working on growing me, meeting other people that are working on growing them, those connections were the best. And not only because I was surrounding myself by quality people who were working and striving to make themselves better, but at the same time, those are the people that I got to see first that wanted to see me succeed. And I had evidence that there were people that barely knew me that were willing to put themselves out to support my success. And that was huge. So the connections that I have made through those people, the support that I have, support systems that I have created for those people, and my friends that are willing to call me out when I see myself as less than, or when I am not living up to my potential, and they can see it and they're willing to be bold enough to tell me that. I think a lot of people are scared to step up for their friends and say, like, hey, this is what I'm experiencing of you. And I know that you might want to know that I'm seeing this, you know? And so the friendships that I have, and a lot of them are people that I've met through PSI seminars, and a lot of them are not. They're just people that I've met along the way because I was working on myself, and they knew that I value getting better and that I value feedback because I want to work on myself. So those friends that are willing to talk to me candidly and offer feedback to me about how I can grow and become better are the most important people in my life.
I love that. And you know me, you've been around me enough to know I'm always gonna, I'm a Bible girl. So there's a scripture that says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. And what that means is that person who's willing to say the thing that might seem hurtful at the time, but it's really intended for your overall betterment, that's a good friend. And there's very few people who will step up and do that. I had a very dear girlfriend of mine who shared with me, for instance, she shared with me her website, and we're both in business. And the average person's going to say, "Oh my God, girl, that's so good," and whether they believed it or not, because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And I had to take a moment and say, I don't think it represents the brilliance of what you bring to the table. I don't believe that is evident of who you really are. And what was the great thing is she took it and she was like, okay, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. And what she came up with after that was like, oh, that's fire. Yes, that's what we're talking about. But I think that, my willingness or my desire to maintain peace instead of really invest in her, overall betterment could have cost her that opportunity. And I think that the people in your life that you're referring to are just that way.
Exactly. Now I want to go look at that website you're talking about.
I know, right? It's like the person is like, it's okay, but I know you, and that's not you. That's not who you are. And so we have to be willing to do that in all of the connections that we hold dear, because it's like truth is always better than what we think is peace. We think that just not creating confrontation is peace, and that's not peace, because now you're carrying it with you, knowing you should have said something. So
absolutely,
a whole other conversation. We got to do part 2 for that. So what would you say is the one word, if you had to give me one word that would sum up your journey, what's one word that you would use?
Can I give you 2? But they kind of go together?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Give it to me.
I want to say love and friendship.
Okay. I'll take those.
And I do think they go hand in hand. And I am one of those people that I do not draw a line and say, this is my business life, this is my personal life.
Right.
My business life and my friendships intertwine. And they mesh.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And I build my business through my friendships, and I build my friendships through my business. And I believe that it all comes also from a base of love.
I agree.
And
yeah, you were the first person on Networking School that gets 2 words, and I'm okay with that because that is so good, so good. And you're so right. So for those of y'all who are maybe listening to this and not seeing it, or you've never met Ellicia, not only is she like amazing in the world of mortgage and real estate, and I mean, she's always been phenomenal in that world. But I know that if I like, hey, can I talk to you? She'd pick up the phone. She dropped off lemons at my front door last week, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's like, she's just that kind of person. And I can definitely, I can second what you just said with complete agreement that you are definitely a business friend. I know that you have that love in your heart. Everyone that knows you would agree with that, for sure.
Thank you.
For sure. What's your networking secret?
Secret? There's no secrets. It's all out there.
I agree.
And really, I guess that's kind of what it is, right? Talk to everybody, because you never know who is going to add value to your life and whose life you can add value to. Right. And sometimes It's not who you're directly talking to. It's who do they know that needs you, or who do they know that you need? And so, never dismiss anybody and talk to everybody.
I love that. I totally love that. And who would have known that all these years later, we'd still be connected after
Right?
basically a networking event, in all honesty. So I agree with that. So we always want to be able to refer. So now you have a network of thousands of people who will listen to this podcast episode who can now
I love
become
it.
your referral partner. So how can we refer you, and who do you believe you're uniquely gifted to serve?
So to refer me, I build my business and make my money on closing mortgage loans. So anybody who is looking to buy a home or refinance their home, I love, love, love working with first-time home buyers, because oftentimes they're scared. They need some hand-holding. They need some education. I get to bring in my love of education to help support them along that journey. However, the uniquely gifted to serve, I think, takes a little bit of a different twist in building my team of loan originators. I believe that I am uniquely gifted to serve in my ways of coaching, training, supporting loan originators in how to build and grow their business. And so I want those loan originators that want support in that, so I can help them grow, and I can grow my business by growing through them and helping support them grow their business.
Love that so much. Those people, both those loan originators who are like, I need that kind of team, and those people who are like, I need for her to help me get my dream house. How do they need to find you? What's your contact information?
So my cell phone is 602-989-2939. I will talk, text, whatever. And I like to be available when people need me. So obviously the hours need to be reasonable, right? However, I will work weekends. I'm not like banker mortgage hours, So if people are working during the week and they need that first conversation on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'm okay doing that. Or email is eromo@nexamortgage.com. And Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. I love social media.
You can always tell a person who walks that talk of I love people and I'm down with creating friendships when they give their cell number to the world. You meant what you said earlier, and I can definitely get behind it. So I want to say thank you so much for being on the Networking School podcast today. I am so excited for the world to hear our conversation, and I'm going to tell all of you all right now, if you're looking to connect with her team, if you're looking to purchase your home, you definitely want to reach out to Ellicia Romo. She is the business, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life, Ellicia. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for being with us.
I'm so grateful for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.